thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining tonight. This is a special meeting of the Fall River Historical Commission, which is being held virtually via Zoom. It is Monday, November 4th, 2024. The time is 6:04 p.m. And again, this is being recorded via Zoom and will be posted onto Fall River Government TV's website for reference afterwards. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. All right, so because we're on a virtual meeting, if I can get a roll call, Connie Sewell,
Present.
Elizabeth DeBlock,
Present.
Joyce Rodericks. Joyce, you're muted. Joyce, if you can unmute, I'll come back to you in a minute. Ashley DeCuna.
Present.
John Lima.
Present.
Rick Mancini.
Yes, present on Zoom.
Jason Bouchard-Naraki, present via Zoom. Joyce, if you can raise your hand to acknowledge that you're present because you are muted right now. Hold on one second. Joyce, can you unmute your camera? If you go to Joyce,
bottom left corner.
Yep. Joyce, how about this? Can you raise your hand that you are present? Thank you. But we will come back to you. If you can figure out how to unmute yourself, that would be.
I'll try that again.
There you go. There we go.
There you go.
Okay. Don't unmute yourself. Joyce
Right,
Roderick.
I am present.
Thank you. All right. So we have everyone is attending. We do not have any open seats. Thank you, everyone. The first item on the agenda is to review. We had tabled on October 15th, 2024 to review and approve the minutes from September 17th, 2024. Liz sent those around on the email.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
Rick, thank you. All right. I have a motion by Ashley, seconded by Rick. Roll call vote, please. Connie?
Yes.
Elizabeth?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Ashley?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
And Jason Bouchard-Naraki, yes. Thank you. Item number 2 is to review and approve the minutes from October 15th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
All right, I have to approve the minutes from October 15th. Motion made by Connie, seconded by Rick. Roll call vote. Connie?
Yes.
Elizabeth?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Ashley?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
And Jason Bouchard-Naraki, yes. All right, thank you, everyone. Do we have any citizens' input regarding tonight's meeting or anything for that matter? Okay. We do not have any notices of intent to demolish. We also do not have any correspondences. Item number 3 under new business is a regarding 710 High Street. This is the John Edwin Cornell House in Highlands Local Historic District. This is a request for a new certificate of appropriateness regarding the reconstruction of the front covered porch and the construction of a side secondary staircase. The original certificate of appropriateness was approved for the rebuilding of the porch roof on April 16th, 2024. There have been subsequent changes to the reconstruction of the porch itself, and there will be a change to the size. But we do have the property owner as present and his contractor. If you can introduce yourselves and just to also state how you are presenting if you're attending via Zoom or present and so forth.
Thank you, Jason. My name is Pedro Vargas, property owner of 710 High Street, and I'm attending via Zoom this evening.
you have your contractor Darwin?
Yes, Darwin,
Yes, I'm over here.
if
Good
you could
afternoon.
introduce yourself, just Darwin.
Yep, and your
Oh,
address, please. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hi, my name is Darwin. I'm the contractor on Pedro's house. So I see I saw a lot of people for you the last time.
Yes. So if you can explain regarding the porch, because it's not, we did, photos were sent to the board, so everyone is aware that the porch is actually not on the house anymore, and what the plan is for the rebuilding of the porch.
Yeah, basically the last permit we get with the owner, it is Pedro is supposed to be remodeling the deck and the porch.
Mhm.
So, but when we start to work, I see a lot of, it's not on columns, it's not on support, a lot of wood damage. So it's for my sake, for my people's work, and for basically for the owners of the property safety. So we take the decision with the owners together and take it down because it's not in support. It's really, really dangerous. And the last time when you are over there, you can see too.
Um, Pedro, do you have
Yes, so I'd like to add to that. Yes, so as Darwin had mentioned, yes, it was originally intended to, we were going to repair balusters, rails, decking on the porch, but as we started work, it just it was just very rotted wood. And to our surprise, there were no like posts, columns. Everything was just on the ground. Um, there were no like concrete. I'm not a contractor, but I guess the posts you need to dig at least 4 feet down, you know, for the frost line and stuff like that. So there was none of that existing. So it was just sitting on the dirt floor. So I think that's what originally caused all the wood, the majority of the wood, to rot out. As a matter of fact, just today I finished just filling up a 30-yard dumpster. Everything had to be demolished, and again, like Darwin stated, it was a safety concern. You know, luckily no one got hurt. Me being here with my family and having get-togethers on the front porch, and it was a very dangerous situation. And for safety reason, we ended up taking it all the way down. So I have no porch at the moment. So
and I think it was also evident too, because the way that the corner was sagging
yes,
down. Okay, so it wasn't resting on any type of no concrete, I guess. Yeah,
nothing,
Footings, yeah, no footings at all.
Footings.
footings. That's it. That's the word.
no footings. Correct.
Okay. And I'm trying to think. So the proposal so the drawing that you sent over, and I will admit it's a little confusing to look at. So from my gathering is that the porch did project from the house. If you're looking at the front of the house to the left, it had that sweep around, that curve to the side. So that side is going to be eliminated, or that sweep is going to be eliminated, and it's going to run just to the edge of the house instead.
That is correct. Yes, I'm
Okay.
actually pulling up the drawing right now. So yes, we would eliminate, yeah, the swing like you mentioned, Jason. So it would just go towards the corner of that house from left to right.
Okay. Actually, let me see. I can get the drawing pulled up. So we have that on the screen. Let's see. One moment. I'm just gonna pull up the drawing. All right. Can everyone see that?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, I can see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're over on the left-hand side where the cursor is, so that's how I'm reading this is and Pedro, please jump in if I'm missing something. So the edge of the house is here. The sweep used to go further out. So it's just going to end, and this is just a hip roof.
Yes.
Okay, so the shed of the roof is here, the corner, and then this will run from the house down to the porch as it had been before.
Correct. It covered the
Okay.
porch, yeah, with a roof.
And then regarding the gable, the little gable over the entrance to the porch, so that will remain the same. It'll be a flat gable with the shingles that were there and so forth. The original schematic, I guess you can put it that way, will be retained. This is just showing the framing.
That's correct. Yes, that's my understanding. And Darwin, feel free to jump in, but yeah, it was, I think the only thing we eliminated was just the swing on the left side and just made it, just with
Mhm.
ending at the corner of the house. Yes, that's the only change. Made it a little bit smaller.
So in the house, so the porch that was there before, it didn't have, so the shingled wall that was on the exterior, that ran right down to the ground. So there was no, it didn't stop at, say, like where the flooring was or anything of that nature. So there was no apron, so to say, like or not apron, yeah, apron or skirt, I guess, that wrapped around the head lattice. It was just shingle straight down to the ground, I believe. So is that what is going to be maintained here on the front beneath the railings?
So underneath the railings, my thought was, Darwin, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe we could do some kind of lattice work underneath the porch, underneath the railings.
Yes, we can do this. Just this the reason we can take the decision for the front, so we can try to work with you guys together. What is the best decision for the front of the porch? But we can do this better.
Okay, yes, 'cause I'm looking at the drawing. It says wood siding, so
So the shingles, okay. So that'll be the shingles, okay. And then, yeah, because I'm looking at a photo of the house from before the porch was worked on, and the beneath the railing, the shingles
All
ran.
shingles.
Yeah, it was all shingles down to the ground. Okay, so
So
that.
So the bottom line is now, Darwin, you're gonna maintain the shingles?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, Pedro, was the shingles is, I heard lattice and then I heard shingles, so what are we gonna maintain?
Oh, Pedro said the lattice is the best idea. I think that works too because we have the two house, one in the house in the corner, and one in the house I think in the left side. So it is the same style. So I think we can work with the lattice.
if that's okay, yes, because again, the house to the left and to the right have the lattice work.
Okay. And this is just to prevent any future
Yeah,
rot and so forth.
future rotting of the porch, and I think the best, yeah, the lattice work would be that maybe that plastic material, I believe it's called, that doesn't rot out.
No.
Composite.
I
No,
don't think.
I'm sorry,
I think if
composite.
you went with, I'm sorry.
Went up
I
ahead.
think if you're gonna go with lattice on the bottom, it needs to be
Wood.
appropriate lattice, not necessarily plastic
Yeah.
lattice, but maybe
It should be a
hardwood.
paintable surface,
I'm sorry, what?
right? It should be a paintable surface, so composite or wood.
Yes, so I'm not sure what the house has to the left of it that you were referring to. Is there a picture of that or?
And also,
Um,
that house is not in the district, is it? To the house to the other side.
So the house to the right, if you're looking at the front of the house, hold on, let me pull up another photo 1 second. I don't know if that was gonna be the one. Can anyone see this photo
Yes,
of the house or no?
No,
Okay, 1 second.
No, I'm not saying that.
1 second. 1 second.
Just the sketch that's on.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. How about that?
Yes,
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. All right, so the house next door, so this house next door on High Street is not in the district, but it is this interestingly enough, these two houses are identical more for the most part. They were both moved at the same time from in the 80s. So you can see lattice under here. One thing I would probably recommend though, underneath wherever the columns are, I would run the shingle if you want to just to have airflow underneath. My recommendation is to run the shingles, say underneath the post, these pillars that hold up the columns, run that down straight down to the ground, and then underneath where the railings are, that would be appropriate. I think if you were to do lattice, like a wood lattice or a composite, it should be paintable. And that would allow, and you have the side too, that would allow some airflow. So it's similar to what is going on next door. They have the lattice here under the railings, but then they have probably, I can't tell with a shrub, but I believe it's either brick or something, but for this particular house. But for this one, since it was shingled all the way down to the ground to maintain that, that feature, that's my recommendation. I don't know if anyone has any differing opinions on that.
I think you're right on target. I think you're on target.
Okay. So then, and then Pedro, the railings that you have on the drawing. So those will be you sent over a photo showing pressure treated wood. So
That's correct.
that'll be pressure treated for the columns, and then the railings will be wood as well.
Yes, pressure treated wood.
Yeah, that's okay too.
Okay. So I'm not, when I hear pressure treated wood, and I know they can be painted, I just have to figure out like how long. And Rick, I think you said, how long?
They usually leave pressure treated alone for about a year.
A year.
A year. Okay.
Mhm.
Actually, what do you do at your business? You wait a year or so?
You gotta wait a year. Yeah, it needs to dry out.
Okay.
The stuff they use now, the wood just stays wet for so long.
Right,
Yeah, it's a minimum of a year and a half for dryer, and then you can paint it something like that.
Mhm.
Is there another wood that could be used instead of pressure treated? Ashley, do you know of one, like a composite?
So technically on the railings, you don't need pressure treated. Typically you want pressure treated if it's in ground contact. So for your columns, you do. You could use whatever pine or something like that.
But for these columns, since they're not resting
The
on the
material,
ground,
the material we have before, it is pine. The material we have before, you can see the box for the columns. It is pine.
which one again?
You see the boxes for cover the columns. That's supposed to be these columns, but it is the material is pine before.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the balusters are pine, yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
balusters are fine. Yep.
And for the columns, so that's just a column wrap essentially. So you're gonna have your like 4x4, your 6x6 inside of that. So
Yeah,
you're not actually seeing the actual column. So the pressure treated will be inside, and then you kind of wrap it with a trim
Right.
around it, which
That's
is
exactly
painted.
what we try to do. Yeah.
Jason, do you have that picture can you show it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have the photo, yeah, and there's a little interference. I'm not sure where that's coming from.
Jason, before you move the picture, I just continue on, but before you get rid of the picture, I just want to show something on the front. Continue with your.
Okay.
Continue with your.
Do you want me to go back to the drawing?
No, I just want to, right where your hand is, hold it right there. You see that white sort of fascia board?
Yeah.
That doesn't belong there. What the existing, and you'll notice even on the other homes, that those shingles go abut the roof line, and then they just put a small piece of trim in there. So that fascia board, that white fascia board, doesn't belong. That was put on a few months ago when they started to repair the roof.
Okay. Okay, you could sort of, let me see, you could sort of see it on the house next door as an example. There is a trim where see how the shingles run to the edge. Is that what you're talking about, Rick?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So that you can do, yeah, so it should, the roof should project just a little bit over some trim, much like the house next door.
It's
Um,
little bit out and put a plastic crown mold or something on top.
Yeah, so it'll be
Mhm.
you have the shingles and then you have like some sort of a crown molding, and then the roofing runs right up to the edge.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it should, yeah, as Rick said, it shouldn't be flat like this. All right, so let me find 1 second. Let me pull up the
While you're pulling that up, Jason, just a side note, Darwin, I noticed on your drawings, your stairs are 11 inches. I know that's not in our purview, but that
No,
will
the
not
step.
meet code. They can't be any higher than 7 inches.
No. The step is 11. The height is 7 inch.
Okay,
okay,
Yeah.
the riser is 7 and then the
Gotcha.
step is okay. All right, let me riser is 7. Okay. Thanks, Ashley. All right, let me find the what was I looking for? I'm sorry. Oh, the
Drawing,
the drawing. I mean the post, the wood post?
oh, that's right, picture of a post.
Okay. All right.
I'm just wondering at this point, what is the timeline on this work? Do we have a new timeline?
We will get to that in a moment. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's because I just want to review the material first, if that's okay. Since we're on that topic. So Pedro, the pressure treated, so this will run into the ground and be wrapped with, as Ashley had pointed out, just some sort of wood material that that would be painted and so forth.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
And Darwin stated, the materials is pressure treated and pine as well, Darwin? Pine?
No, this is all pressure treat.
Oh, this is all
This is-
pressure treated, okay.
That's a pressure treat. It's
Yeah.
6x6 posts in the middle,
Huh.
and they cover with 1x4 pieces all around.
Yeah.
I know we have a small detail before, so but they have this detail, yeah, right there in the corner. Yeah,
You
so
want,
we
oh,
can include, yes.
okay.
So we can include in the post too.
Okay. So you want this recessed panel on the post as well to show.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions on that? They're just they
Well,
want
I'm
to.
just curious, why would you use the trim? Why would you use pressure treated wood? If the post is gonna be covered or trimmed out, why would we continue to use pressure treated on the exterior on the trim?
Yeah, so I'm do the recommendation for the owners of the properties, you know. So just is one option I can give him. The other option is like we have it before. The last porch is put in the middle and covered like with pine and the box. So, but I need to give him a couple options, and you guys too. You can see options we can do. You know.
I think you can box it out, if you get rid of this like shadow box style kind of thing, because you can see the post inside there, which you can't paint yet. So instead of the corner boards, and you just kind of use like a panel, like a, I don't know, like a 1 by 12 maybe or something, depending on how big that column is. And you can still get, it'll it'll be boxes, but you can still ferret out where the bottom is thicker like that, with a paintable surface, so that you're not waiting for that interior.
We have before the bottom part is like a 4 feet high by
Hmm?
2 by 14 inches.
Yeah,
So in the bottom part, in the 4 feet, and then on top we have 12 all around.
Okay.
So just for cover the post.
So what's the reasoning behind the recessed panel? Because aren't you trying to mimic what it originally looked like? Those were just flat, square columns.
Flat square.
What was that?
Originally on the porch, they were just square columns, no recessed paneling.
Right.
Yeah.
So aren't you
Probably
trying to
suits
mimic
the house.
the look
probably
of
suits
the
the house,
original porch?
So wouldn't the flat, like you're saying, Elizabeth, wouldn't that suit the style of the home better?
Yeah.
Right. So the pre-existing didn't have that bevel or that recessed strip. It was just a plain box.
And there's almost, I don't know what to call that molding at the top. It's not necessarily a capital for the
Right.
column, but it's that little trim. at the
Right.
top.
This right here.
Yeah, it's like a color round cream. It's on top and the bottom too.
Mhm.
So we can put it these two. Basically, you can see the bottom too. We have a piece of crown molding down.
Let me see if we can find it.
Well, basically,
Mhm.
this one I haven't sold rotted. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
So you would put this this base back, and then the collar up on top, I guess,
Yeah,
for lack of a
exactly.
better term. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you're still gonna do the double posts, right? So would both of them be structural or would it just be one?
Uh,
So you wouldn't probably need both of
it's
them.
like just for detail because we don't have nothing posed there anywhere.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Right, but for the new porch, these need to be structural and they need to have a footing.
Yeah, exactly. So this is one of the reason we take it down because it's not in support
Mhm.
for all of this, and the bottom part is all damaged. So we don't have the concrete on the floor. So it's just for detail. It's not in columns, not on support.
Elizabeth, so when those get done, they should honestly both sit on one sonotube. You can put a sonotube big enough that both your columns will sit on it. It'll honestly probably be easier than one and then like a decorative.
Mhm.
You're better off just running them to your footings.
Right. So the footing will kind of sit in between the two, and then.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it'll capture it. They'll both land on it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like a decorative.
Okay. Yeah, and because this is a detail that was present on the house, they having the paired columns like this is, and when you get to the corner, because this won't be rounded anymore, it'll be squared off. So you would need the grouping over here, the three. So, the corner one and then the two projecting out. So kind of mimicking this corner, which I think it's kind of hard to tell in the drawing, but so when you get to the proposed squared off corner over here, you would need the grouping of three columns instead.
Is this
We
me
can do
just
it.
being too picky? But I would argue that the rounded corner on the porch, that was a character defining feature of the house. That's what made the house stand out. So I would argue getting rid of that rounded border really changes the character of the house.
I
Is it
agree, Elizabeth,
visible
and then you're
to-
also going to change the roof line by doing that.
Mhm.
Right. Because so when Rick and I had gone out to look at the property when the porch came off, and I think just I'm not sure if it was just a matter of replicating this curve and the costs associated with it. But using this house next door as an example, but because it doesn't have that curve. And also too, this house, when it was moved in 1980, 81 or so, it didn't actually have a porch on it. The porch was, circa 1981, 82, somewhere around there. And what do you call it? So I'm trying to find a photo of what the porch would have looked like, is because I think just because it was on the corner, that's why the rounded porch was at, or the rounded corner was added.
I have a photo. I can send Pedro, and Pedro can send you a, you can display better too.
Okay.
Yes, I have the original photo too, when the house was moved in 81, Jason, so it did not have a porch, so like you said, the porch was added sometime after the house was moved.
Right.
Hence, the work was not up to code. Again, it was just strange how there were no footings whatsoever.
Yeah, and the photo the photo that I'm remembering is the one where it's showing it actually. It's interesting. The house kind of tilted off the back of the truck when it was being backed into place. And you could see the outline of where the porch was. They had removed the porch off the house in order to move it, because obviously it wouldn't have survived the move. And you could still see, you can't really see in this photo, but if you're to go over to the house now, look on the side, you can see where the porch, the original porch had been, with the kind of like the ghost marks on the
Yeah, you
woodwork.
can kind of see like the shadow outline. No, that's interesting. I didn't realize that the porch was only from the 80s.
Right.
I would definitely be interested in seeing what it looked like originally.
Yeah, it's I don't know what photos exist that are accessible now that show this I mean, it was a whole neighborhood of houses that were moved in 1981. Um, so, and this is, I think, the only one in the historic in the 40C district that was part of that that move. Um, so okay, so we have.
The other option too, you might want to mention, Pedro and Jason, is the addition of the side porch and having that side door on French Street that looks like it was an add-on at the time, and trying to get egress door to the ground. The stairs really should be turned to the north side of the house, so that might interfere with this portion of the porch also. So
Great, that's a
another
good
reason
point.
for getting rid of that curve.
Right. So it's oh, let me see if I can get another. I don't have another photo to show, but let me see if I can find no, I don't have another photo to show. So the side porch,
Jason,
so
I had
that's,
sent you a picture that was taken when the 46 was, it's,
yes, let
I
me,
sent it to your email.
all right, let me,
It was taken when the 46 was being established.
yep.
It's a clearer picture, maybe that'll help, I don't know. Maybe it
Oh,
won't.
so the
Google
side,
Street
so
View still has the porch still attached. If you want to look it up on Street View.
is it on Street View? Okay.
Mhm.
Connie, the photo that you sent, thank you. That shows from the driveway side. We're looking at on the French Street side.
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh no, that's okay. And I think the image that's available on the Form B is hard to tell because of the amount of trees that are on that side. So one moment while we're doing this, I'm going to find um the street view, and I'll share my screen for that.
I have a picture, Jason, on my computer as well, of French Street side with the side entrance.
Okay. I'm actually just there now. So I mean, it's still covered in trees, but let's see if this will. 1 second.
I know I have like a 20 photos of this side, but I can find it now.
All right, can everyone see that?
Yes,
Okay,
Mhm.
again, this is not the greatest photo because of the trees, but yeah, goodness. So there's a
Oh,
door.
so that
over
door
here.
goes to the porch?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a door over here that has no staircase. So
right.
one of the reasonings for the new porch to stop on the corner and not wrap around to this whole side was one of the proposals for that Rick and I had discussed was that the platform to come out, because of how steep the grade is, you can't really tell in this photo on the street view because of the angle, but it is quite steep. And to run it to the street, there's just not enough room to have an adequate sized platform. So one thing that Rick had proposed was to have the platform come out and then the staircase run along the bay. It's a diagonal bay. And then so it can meet with a potential new walkway over here. I think that's what Rick was talking about.
Right.
And that way it runs into the incline, the slope of the hill earlier, and it limits the amount of material used. If he were to run it down the side over here, it's way too steep. It'll come way too close to the property line. And then the other option too, if it were to run down the slope, say like to a platform and then run to the wrap around the corner, the back corner of the house, it's going to now block his basement door. That's how actually he's accessing the property now.
The tremendous amount of steps that are required, it's not very practical. So,
Right, and the utilities over here that's shown, this is from 2012. So the utilities that are here, they've actually been moved further towards the front of the house. So that's not at present anymore. But so that's part of the reason to remove this edge, because it would interfere with the porch, or I guess the porch, but and I think too, from just a cost standpoint of having to mimic this whole curve. Pedro, jump in if I'm
You're absolutely correct, Jason. I have a better picture if you allow me to share my screen without the
Okay.
trees.
Yeah, if you wanna I can. All right, so I'm paused, or like let me just stop my share. There we go. So you can share now.
Okay.
did we lose John?
No, there's they're still here.
Right here.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
there
this is excellent. Okay.
Great photo.
Everyone can see that?
Yes,
Great.
Thank you. Yeah, this is much better.
So that's the door.
Okay.
And if you're looking at that, you can see that the necessary platform. You can see where that door was an afterthought. That was not the original door. You see how it does not line up with the window up above,
Right.
etc. And then if you put a platform out there, it's got to be large enough so that you can come out and turn safely. And if the stairs went to the left, they would protrude really well beyond the building. And again, that land keeps sliding down. If you put another platform at the corner and pushed the stairwell back, it would it looks like it, I didn't measure it exactly, but by looking at it, it looks like it would interfere with the exit of the basement. So it really, your only real option is to turn the stairs and push them out to the right around the bay. The other thing is that would also allow you to push the deck out enough to create a platform in order to exit, get in the door and out the door. So it's like one of the pliable options here.
I give for Pedro two options, actually three options, what exactly we can work on. Of course, we don't have the measurements ready, but because we need to figure out what exactly you recommend. But Pedro, can you show the photos I sent you before?
Actually, Jason, do you have those? It's
I have them.
probably,
Yep, one moment.
yep, please. There's three options.
So let me- second. All right, so here's the first one. So and this is showing, is this your proposal for this for the side in
Yeah.
in this shape and
Right, obviously, we would think of, yeah, we would put the stairs on the right side.
okay,
Um,
right, up against the bay window, you mean?
yes.
Okay. So one thing I noticed is kind of when you zoom in, it's a little hard to tell, but so this railing has the balusters attached on the outside, and that's more appropriate for like a, I mean, it's not historically in keeping. So anything that you put there, our recommendation, and speaking on behalf of the board, would be to mimic the railing system that you have on the front porch. So square balusters that don't, they're not projected or at least attached to the exterior of the rail and the base rail, but set within. So you have the handrail sits on top, and then you have another. For lack of a better term, the you know the what is it called, the base
Mhm.
support. So that's what I would recommend for the front and or for the side, and then same thing. Like if it's are you looking to do the pressure treated in this case,
Yes, it would be pressure treated.
and will you be painting this after?
After a year, yes, I would be
Okay.
painting the front and the side porch as well as hopefully the entire house.
Sure. Okay. So that's the first one. The second one, let me pull that up.
On that hand,
Oh, yeah.
on the balusters and the handrail height, you're gonna be in keeping with the height of the front porch.
That's correct.
Yeah,
That's
rest of the same style. We go to the front. Just as proposed for this an idea what exactly we that the porch like it, but the style and the details we have in the front, so we continue with the same for the back porch too.
The other one, sorry, one second. So the other option was, so Pedro, what is, this is also for, so would you, are you considering putting a whole deck on the side of the house?
I mean, it would be good, like a platform large enough, that I may, if I could put chairs,
Sure.
maybe a little dining table
Yeah.
with an umbrella, it would be good.
So
A little sitting area.
so off the top of my head, so my only concerns with that would be what the setback is from the side street, and how far out that deck can go towards the street. That I'm not sure what the setbacks are over there. Um,
If if we start right in the corner
Yeah.
to the house, we have like a 12 by 8. Basically, it's 8 deep, 12 longer, plus the stairs, of course.
and then we would also need, depending on the proposal, we would need measurements to the area, uh, some sort of a drawing that shows it on the house, so we have an idea of what we're looking at in terms of, the scale. But I would check with the building department too to see what the setbacks are.
Are you, do you know what the setback would be for that deck from French Street?
Who are you asking?
Ashley, if she knows.
What the setbacks are from the street?
Yeah, yes.
Oh,
10-foot
I-
setback?
I think 10,
Yeah, that's what I think too.
10 feet.
So you wouldn't be able to come off the building more than, take a measurement from the sidewalk to the building. That's only what, maybe 14, 15 feet? So you have to be from the sidewalk to the deck. And I concur with Ashley, what I was telling Jason earlier. It's generally a 10-foot setback.
Mhm.
That's a code, that's a building code issue.
Right. There's always variances, but that's not
They're full
for
for
us.
the west side.
Um, Pedro, just throwing this out there too, one other possible option. And it's a little bit of a larger option. Because your driveway's on the other side of the house. And it is determined that that door that's there now was added. It doesn't line up with the window directly above it. Architecturally, they should be lining up with that line. So I don't know what your setup is internally in the kitchen area in the back, but one option too is if you wanted to seal up that door, replace with a window, move it to the opposite side of the house. We have reviewed projects like that, um, where the deck is off to the side on the other side of the house. We would have to review it anyways because it is seen from the street. But if you were to add the door on the other side, then you have access to the yard, the driveway, and you can probably put in a larger deck without the necessary, having to worry about a setback of 10 feet. Um, that's
That,
it's larger.
that's actually, that's a good idea. I just didn't know I had that option to close off that, block it off, or is the option to put a window too, or just I can block it off, or?
I mean, I would probably, I mean,
Yeah, I would recommend keeping a window in with the one upstairs, just to keep the aesthetics of the building.
one house that did do that, although it was, I don't think we actually, trying to think how this happened. Oh, because it was behind a fence. That was the house on further up High Street, 528, I think, that they had closed up. Well, we did review them closing up one of the doors off the driveway. And so we did review that, and now it's just a window. But if it's as long as it's the frame, the style is in keeping to the house, there's I don't my opinion, I don't have an issue with, if you wanted to close up the door and turn it into a window and then move the door to the opposite side off the driveway. So at least then it gives you more space if you want to have a deck off the driveway. That's me. I don't know if anyone else, if Connie or Elizabeth or anyone else on the
Well,
board.
I actually like that idea because what I'm looking at here, I think this would be an eyesore on the side of the house. Because we're getting really big. It's not even a porch now, it's a deck. So I think it just doesn't, to me, doesn't flow with the house, the design of the home. And so I do think on the opposite side makes more sense for you, Pedro, living there,
Yes.
coming in with groceries or whatever it may be, to be on the driveway side versus, that side of the house. And honestly, I think if you find a window that's, keeping in size of the others, I actually think because that's the south side of the house, I think it'll bring you a lot of light into the home versus just making it a solid wall.
Thank you, Connie. I like that idea as well. So I can discuss with Arwen, but I didn't know that that was an option for me. So I'd like
Yeah.
to think about that and maybe, just put a window there and concentrate on the front porch for now. Again, I have the second egress, which is down in the basement
Mhm.
for now. So,
Yeah, I think right now the priority is getting your front porch reconstructed. And then if you have, the other thing too, if there's an existing window that's on the back area of the house off the driveway, um, that can be where where a new door could go and a deck off the back. Um, and you know, I think this allows you older homes are, they're, especially in the back, there's a lot more flexibility in terms of making modifications if necessary. And given the location of the property too, right on the street corner, on the incline that's there now, I think, if you look at it from the driveway side, I think that gives you some more options. And so But yeah, so I think the priority right now is to get the front porch, the design of the front porch approved. And so that way we can get you your certificate so you can start getting that underway. So why don't we do so when we so this is for the front porch and then the side porch. So let's focus on the front porch right now. Does anyone have any questions regarding the front porch? I know I know there are some concerns over the squared off corner versus a rounded corner.
Yeah, I mean, originally I had no idea that was a later addition, but I would be interested in seeing the original porch of the house.
I'm having a real hard time hearing. There seems to be like interference and
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Does somebody
Darwin-
have like a speakerphone on?
Darwin, out of curiosity, are you on your phone?
Oh, yes, I'm over here.
So I'm wondering if that might be because I think everyone else is on their everyone else is on their laptop. I'm not sure where the interference is coming from. I don't hear it now. Does anyone hear it now?
No.
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 All right. I'm not sure where that's coming from. So regarding the curved, and the house next door does have it's squared off, using that as an example. And you could you can see too with the house next door what ultimately this porch the roof line would look like. I can bring that back up if necessary. All right. So you can kind of get the idea of what the porch will look like with the gable with that level of trim, the molding with the squared off corner running to the edge of the house. Pedro, you're not changing anything before I forget. You're not changing the depth of the porch. That's
Yeah.
staying the same.
Yeah, it's staying the same. Correct, Darwin? The depth, the size of the.
Oh, yeah, it's then the same.
Okay.
Yes.
It's then the same height for the railings, the same details for the baluster, the space for the stairs too, for the front stairs. So we stay with the same measurements.
Yes.
What are the spindles again? What are you using for spindles?
Is 2x2 square ones.
Square, pressure treated, right? Or
Yep.
pine?
As Ashley indicated, you don't have to use the pressure treated on the balusters. You can just use plain, whatever material, as long as it's wood and paintable. That way you can have that painted right away. Same thing with the handrail. Yeah. Yeah. And then if you
It's
go
not
with
touching dirt.
huh? What was that, Connie?
Oh, because it's not touching dirt. It doesn't have to be the pressure treated.
Right.
Right.
And it can be painted right away, which would be nice.
And if they wanted to go with the pressure treated for the columns, they just, they can wrap it, as Ashley mentioned, they can wrap it with just what do you want to call it? Like a
Yeah,
Just-
just a standard pine board.
yeah, just a standard pine plank that can
Or
be
a
painted.
composite, or a composite
Mhm.
that throw up.
Okay. And then the decking, I believe, would be I mean, what's here, what was there, was, I mean, but if you're able to maintain that, that finish, I suppose, where the floorboards come straight out like that, because that's, even like on any other house in the neighborhood, they have that, it's not finished off, it's just, the floorboards run right to the edge.
Yeah,
And then the front steps, because the ones that were there didn't have any details. So you're proposing on putting, obviously wood handrail, the wood spindles, and then for a post at the bottom, would that just be a very simple square newel post at the base?
Yeah, the new posts in the bottom. I think we can attach the railing right in the box with for the posts for the porch.
Okay.
Each side because we need to
Right, you need to.
and left and right. Yeah.
Yeah, and just the same thing. I would mimic as long as you're able to mimic the square balusters.
The same style. Yeah.
Mhm,
Basically.
okay.
Yeah.
What's the product being used for the decking?
Or the boards.
The floorboards,
Yeah.
I'm talking with Pedro. I know Pedro is with me. It is a composite something. Composite boards.
What's that?
Composite boards?
Yeah, composite. Yeah, board.
The floorboards. They're not
Well, the
Trex.
originals would have been fir, but yeah, I'm sure you're not gonna buy fir. That's so expensive
You
today.
know, there's the IPE hardwood decking
Yep.
that really looks great too.
Yeah, that's one before too.
Okay, so
What does our design guidelines recommend for decking? I don't have it in front of me. I apologize.
I looked at it. I think
Well,
and
we are allowed composites, Connie. So,
Yes.
And I did look at the Secretary of the Interior Standards. There was a publication from 2015 about pressure treated wood, and it didn't seem to uh, prohibit pressure treated wood as long as it's replicating the detail that was there. So if they were like tongue and groove floorboards, like that type of a situation, then I don't know if you would use, but that's the recommendations from the Secretary of the Interior Standards. But it seemed that pressure treat if that was to be utilized, but composite, I'm familiar with the IPE, Connie, that you were mentioning, the composite decking, and it's for a front porch or at least for any type of exterior.
I'm not recommending it. I was just making,
Yeah.
because I don't know, I personally wouldn't put pressure treated wood
Yeah.
as a decking. I have replaced my decking with fir. So, you know, but I'm one of those people that would. And I just feel like fir lasts forever. You know.
I've
But
replaced
whatever
decking.
the design guidelines allow,
Yeah.
I'd be okay with.
Yeah, I know it does allow for composite. I was looking up to see what the material was, if there was anything regarding like I had a question more on the pressure treated wood earlier, but I think exterior wood let's see.
Pedro, what were you thinking of using?
Composite for the flooring?
So in the design guidelines, it says decay-resistant woods include cedar, mahogany, redwood, air-dried, pressure-treated southern yellow pine, but other pressure-treated wood is for framing members only. But it's indicated air-dried for if it's pressure-treated. And then let's see. But I would steer away from whatever that plastic material is. What is it called? I want to say it's like Trex or Treads or something like that. That's
Yeah.
yeah, no. That's not compatible. Let's see.
I know a house on Hanover they redid their front porch and they used fir, so I don't know if that's completely out of the picture, Pedro. But
Um,
I don't know if it's because it's cost prohibitive,
It's the
prohibitive
cost,
or it is cost.
yes.
okay.
I mean, because you're going now with a smaller porch, you're not wrapping around, so that is saving money.
True.
I'm not seeing.
It-
It's
it's
kind
the
of feeling through
pressure
the
treated.
design guidelines. Yeah, nothing with vinyl or anything of that nature. So as long as it's either a stainable or paintable surface is recommended. For the front porch, for the flooring of the front porch.
And they're also saying, I think you said, Jason, that only pressure treated wood for framing, is that?
Yes.
that what you said?
So it's for if you're using pressure treated for anything other than framing, it has to be air dried. It recommends yellow pine. And then everything else for pressure treated is for structural purposes. So like in the case of the columns here, they would just get wrapped up. So that's because this will go right down to the ground.
The air drying is so that you can paint right away.
Right.
That's what happens. If you pressure treated material, air dried, you can generally paint right over it. And yellow pine, good luck if you buy that. You think fir is expensive, try and buy yellow pine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll only be
it-
able to
it's
find
better.
kill dried, sorry.
Oh, really? Okay. So that's what I'm. And deck. Yeah, it doesn't say anything. I can't find specific language on decking, but at a just kind of flipping through. That's what at least I can find regarding woodwork. And Pedro, I did give you a copy of the design guidelines, I believe, too. So
Yes.
yep. Okay. All right. So regarding so now is everyone okay with the new layout of the front porch? So we're removing that extension. I think everyone's on board with that.
Yes, I
Yes.
am.
Thank you.
Right. And then in terms of the curve, is everyone on board without doing the curve and just squaring it off? So it's similar to the house next door.
I think so. If it wasn't on the original, then if it was an addition, then why are we gonna fight about it?
Connie, you were saying?
No, I'm confused now. What was the first thing you said? I thought was the layout, you meant eliminating the curve.
Oh yeah, so the original the porch that was removed extended past the house and did that sweep
Right.
around. So the sweep is going to be omitted, and that side there was like a whole porch area on the side of the house, so that's being omitted. So it's just going to be on the
No,
front, strictly on the front.
I understand that, and I'm
Okay.
okay with that, just it
Okay.
being a front porch only, without the wraparound.
Correct.
But the first thing you said, I think everybody's okay with the layout. I thought that's what you were referring to.
Yes.
When
Yeah,
you say layout, what are you referring to? 'Cause I'm really confused about the drawing. and the
Yeah, so
materials and
sorry,
stuff.
when I refer to the layout, it's just the just basically just referring it to just the being as a front porch only and not wrapping over to the side.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm
Okay.
fine with that.
Okay. And anyone have it, and everyone, I think everyone was on board with it being squared off and not wrapped or curved. Okay.
We do have a
then-
question about the roof of the porch. So is it gonna maintain the same slope as it used to? Or is it gonna be a flatter pitch?
I believe they're maintaining, based on the drawing, they're maintaining the same pitch.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay. And then Let me bring up the drawing. Sorry, we'll go back to that. Sorry. And then, all right, so the pitch is staying the same. We're gonna add the gable trim. And so the owner wants to put in the lattice. So Pedro, are you okay with the idea of having the shingles? So the piers that hold up the columns, having the shingle run down
Yes,
to the ground? Because
Yes,
on the
I'm good
drawing
with
it
it.
shows wood siding over the whole base, but you would prefer to have some sort of a lattice area underneath the railing, so at least then there's some airflow going underneath and it prevents any future rot.
That's correct.
Okay.
Can I
Uh,
ask another question since you have the drawing up?
Yeah.
So are the rails only gonna be on one section of the porch? Between the first two? They're not gonna be over?
Oh, I see what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's a good catch. Thank you. They should extend.
Thank you,
right-
Connie. That's one of my notes. That rail should extend to meet the existing, the railing and the spindles should extend across the full front and not just half of the front, as is shown on this drawing.
Yeah.
Thank you. I got this. That was one of my notes.
Thank you. That's okay. So I'll make a note of that.
Well,
All right.
I'm a little confused by the drawing because when I look at the front of the house and the two upstairs windows, it looks like they're aligning with a different part of the house than they should be. I guess I'm confused. So there's the set of columns under the front pediment, and then there's another double set of columns.
Mhm.
But the way the porch was, that's where it ended and turned the corner. And then now I'm seeing another set of columns all the way to the left. So is the spacing of the columns changing from one
Oh,
of
okay. I see what you're saying. So, based on the Rick, can he so with the windows? So this drawing is not obviously to scale. Well, not to scale, but the windows. This window on the right rests right above the gable, and then this one over here on the left should be a little further down. But so Rick, do you think the span? So this is
He's got a 12-foot span in there, and that porch is larger than 12 feet. Or the
well.
new
Now I'm
porch.
wondering, Pedro, is this 12 feet? Is this 12-foot span from the this column here over? Is this to the corner? Is this to the new corner? 12 feet?
No, that's not the corner. The
If
one
it
all the
were
way to
to
the left
scale,
will be
that
a
looks
corner.
like it would be the corner.
Yeah,
It's
because
very
I'm looking.
confusing.
It is a little confusing. All right, let me see if I can pull 1 second.
Yeah, is there a way you could put it side by side, the drawing versus a picture of the front?
I don't know if I can do that. 1 second. Let me see. Just gonna share the whole thing. Does this make sense? Let me pull up the.
Or if you pull up street view, you can have it like exactly centered.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is helping at all or if I'm making matters worse.
You have a direct front view? No.
I do not.
If you pull up
So the
street
picture
view,
I
it
sent
has a
you-
very clear view of
Yeah,
the
let me
house.
pull up street view. Sorry, let me do that. 1 second.
The picture that I sent you from that is from oh, there you go.
There we go. Okay. All right.
So you just see the columns framing the front entry, and then it's only one other set of columns before you
Right.
turn the corner. And then it kind of frames that downstairs window. But in the drawing, it's where's the window supposed to be on the drawing? Just trying to orient myself.
Right. So I think actually, so Pedro, can you, if you have the paired columns here, and then you have two paired, in the porch, well, technically, this is where the corner is, right here. Can you you don't need you wouldn't need this second set of columns here in the drawing. So this would be the corner, and you would
That's
have,
correct.
the three. So there's the two paired columns. There's one right behind it. So there's three columns here in the corner. So you would run here in the corner 3 columns,
Actually,
and then maintain this same opening. So yeah, and the
Right.
drawing is a little confusing. So yeah, that's
And then so the corner, the roof line would be a hip roof that would come down diagonally from the side of the house, or would it just be like a shed roof extending straight out?
no,
from
it
the
would
front
be oh no,
windows?
that's a bad one. It would be a shed. Sorry, I know we're like doing street view here. It would be a shed like this. Not a shed, I'm sorry.
Okay, so it kind
a
of
hip.
cuts into the facade a little bit. I
Correct.
see.
Yeah. All right. So Pedro, one thing I would do, because the building department is going to need drawings, so this drawing will need to get updated.
yes.
And because yeah, it is a little confusing, especially when we in this drawing, it looks like this is the corner, so you would have to eliminate this, and
Yes.
yep, okay. Um, and then the side, the new side over here would have the same railing system, and then
Correct.
okay, all right,
Correct.
okay.
You know, as we're going along here, the drawing, no dispersions meant, but those drawings are not very accurate. So what we're doing here, as we're speaking, is we're all going on a lot of good faith here. So I would advise that Darwin really looks at this photo and maintain that same existing detail, especially when we get to the details. They should be matching this existing profile. That's very important. The drawings mimic the profile of this photo.
Yes. I understand.
Yeah,
So-
about the drawings in the 2 columns you see right in the corner. So we need to make 3 columns, try to match the same style we have on the right side. So you can see in the drawings just one column because the other column is supposed to be go back to this column, right? So, but we can put it 3 over there and 3 on the back side too. 1 on back side, sorry. So, and the railings is the same height, the same style in this corner too.
Yes, Darren, like Rick mentioned, yeah, we'll try to keep it as much as the look that we're seeing the house at the moment.
Yes, you have to, you got to maintain, you know, again, we're going on good faith here.
Yes,
A set of drawings like this would not normally be accepted, but we're trying to work with here, and as long as Darwin can really maintain details, that's going to be a very, very important factor.
correct.
But
okay.
yes, I agree with you.
So regarding with your application, so we could, in terms of a certificate of appropriateness, we could make it conditional that it's approved with once we receive a new drawing that shows accurately shows the layout of the columns, the update to the lattice, and the trim that's going to be put back onto the gable, and this is just for the front porch. So we can issue the certificate once we've received an updated drawing with the measurements and so forth.
Yeah, and if possible, like the materials that would be used too.
Yes, because the building department's going to need the materials listed as well, and as we will do, we need that too. Like if there's a way of like doing like a computerized SketchUp or something, there's a program actually, funnily enough, called SketchUp. But like some sort of computerized drawing or rendering that shows how it will appear on the front of the house. But you know, like, yeah, because I think especially with the full rebuild of the porch, I think the building department's gonna need something like that, just on their end. Um, but aside from that, with the changes and so forth, I don't have any other questions per se. Um, so we covered the railings going up to the porch, the entrance steps, and Ashley, thank you for correcting that with the 7 inches, the riser, and then the material. I think that's it. Does anyone have any questions other than that?
Hi, Jason. Just getting back to the side porch. Can you write it up also where I can put a window there?
So let's, if you wanted to seal that up, so why don't we do, I mean, if you wanted to seal that up, I mean, I would recommend getting some plans, an idea of what you want to do on the other side first, and then we can, because that back porch will have to be, if you were to put it on the other side, we'll have to review that because it is seen from the street. Just using this as an example. So like if it's back here, invisible, we'll have to review it. So we can lump that all together if you want. Or if you are intent on sealing up the door now, does anyone have any objections to that?
No,
No, I
I
have.
don't, but it would be like, if the window would need to be size appropriate.
Correct.
So similar to the
And
size.
an
of-
appropriate window as well, like to match the others, whatever it is it 2/1 or?
They're 2/1.
Yeah,
Pedro, before I forget, so if you are, oh, see, I don't have your photo.
Yeah,
If
let me bring it
you,
up if you don't mind. Can I-
yeah, I'll stop sharing.
Please. All right, let's,
And we'll put this into the approval too. Because one thing that you have on the side, and Rick and I pointed this out. So see above the door. So if you remove the porch on the right, just visually take that off. So you have this decorative corbel with a drop pendant framing. If you're if you're going to remove this little overhang roof and you're going to replace this with a window, this decorative corbel with the drop pendant, if you're able to, the one on the left, since there's no need to have that overhang, if you can put that back over to the other side underneath the bay window, the second floor projection of the bay window, because I think that's what happened. When this porch was added on in 1981, this drop pendant, see how it sticks out from that slight overhang next to the bay window? I think they took the other one on the opposite side and just framed it out next to the door. Does this make sense to everyone?
Yeah, so you're saying the one on the other side of the door, it used to be on the opposite side of the bay under
Correct.
the overhang?
Correct.
Yeah, I think
That's just
so
the,
too.
yeah, I've seen that on so many different houses too, and that I think that's on it might be on the house next door, or there's a similar one in the neighborhood. But anyways, because that is a character defining feature of that side elevation are those corbels with a drop pendant. And if you're going to seal that up and put a window there instead, you know, you don't necessarily need that overhang, that roof overhang anymore. Does that
right.
make sense, Pedro?
So moving it where, Jason?
So that pendant, oh, on the left side,
That,
okay. Relocating that to if you move it over to the right-hand side of that bay window, because remember that porch roof is not there right now.
right. So when you say
And
which bay window, like,
the one to the, not the stained glass, but to the right, there's that, that's to the right of it. You can't see behind the column.
It would be symmetrical with the existing one to the right of the door. So if once you eliminate the rounded part of the porch, it would be symmetrical to the one that would be left on the other side.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
we're-
that's just a suggestion anyways, just if you're going to seal up that door and put a window there, because that would omit the need to have that overhang, that roof overhang that's there now.
right.
That's just a suggestion, and that's if that's something of consideration. But you know, just putting that out there at least. But anyways, yeah, so if you want to, does anyone have any objection to sealing up the door and replacing it with a
Make a
window?
separate, we can make a separate motion and separate, a letter of approval for just that.
Right,
Along with the recommendation that the car will be moved to
right.
the side of the bay.
Yeah, I mean, if it's feasible to do that, but okay. So the original application was for the rebuilding of the front porch and then the side secondary staircase. So we'll need to make a change to that to tabling the side secondary staircase for now. And then just focusing on the front porch, so I can make that Rick, how would we word that?
Well, was the adding of that side porch, was that part of our agenda tonight?
Yes,
All
the
right,
side,
then what we have to do is we have to table that particular request
for the side porch.
for the side porch.
Okay.
And then, if it's not on, I don't know I don't know if we can, well, I guess we're talking about the whole construction phase, so I'm wondering if we can actually okay the removal of the door without it being on the agenda.
Okay, that's one. Yeah, so why don't, yeah, I don't know if we can, yeah, because for officially the way the agenda was written, we were reviewing the front porch and the side secondary stairs. So this is not on the
Agenda.
sealing up of the door is not on our purview
Correct.
right now
Correct.
on the
Well,
agenda. So
what we
Pedro,
could
one thing,
do is we've discussed it, all of us,
Right.
so that it's not irrelevant, and probably put it on the agenda for the next meeting in what,
That's
in
fine.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
And that way you can have your answer, Pedro, in writing within a couple of weeks. We'll just, there's a little technicality here. We might not be able to be doing this because it's not on the agenda.
I understand.
Yeah, and that buys you some time too. So if you know, you can explore the feasibility of having the deck on the other side, and so and we would have proper drawings with measurements and so forth, and that way, and our certificates of appropriateness are good for a year. So even if we have that all taken care of, our next meeting is actually going to be, it's not the third Tuesday of the month because there's a scheduling conflict. So it's going to be, I think it's the 26th of November. So it's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, I believe. So there's some extra time at least, and to have those drawings prepared if you are ready to if you're ready at that time. Otherwise, we can review the door and the side porch at a a later meeting, at one of our regular meetings. But for tonight, so we would table that request for the side secondary staircase and just move forward with the reconstruction of the front porch.
So do you want that in the motion? I'll make a motion that we table the side porch addition and change.
I'll second that motion, Rick.
Okay, so I have a motion by Rick, seconded by Joyce to table the request for the side secondary staircase. Okay, may I get a 1 second? Roll call vote, please. Connie,
Yes.
Elizabeth,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yes,
Ashley. Oop. Did we lose Ashley? We may have lost her. John,
Yes.
Rick, did I ask you? Sorry.
Yes.
And Jason Bouchard Naraki, yes. All right, so that's tabled. Ashley may have gotten off, but we do have a quorum. All right, so then moving on to the certificate of appropriateness for the front porch. So this is conditional of updated drawings, Pedro, that show the list of changes. So the lattice, the front handrails with the new post, the trim to the gable, and then also the side facade of where the curve would have been, so showing the railings and so forth. So, and was there anything else that I'm missing, everyone? Oh, and also the list of the materials that are going to be used. Okay,
Okay, materials including the lattice,
correct.
and the decking.
Yep. All right, so this will be a certificate of appropriateness, condition upon receiving updated drawings, and with the list of materials. So may I get a roll call to approve that motion on the, or not a roll call, sorry. If I can get a motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness on those conditions.
I'll submit that.
All right,
Okay. Was that a motion, Joyce?
sorry.
Was that a motion?
Yeah, that was a motion by Joyce.
Okay, well, I'll second that if not an issue.
Okay. Roll call by, I'm sorry, a motion by Joyce, seconded by Rick for certificate of appropriateness with conditions on an updated drawing and list of materials. Roll call vote, please. Connie,
Yes.
Elizabeth,
Yes.
Joyce, Joyce. Yes or no? Yes. Yes or no, Joyce? Joyce, are you proving yes? If you can raise your hand, please.
But I was on
There.
on
We're taking,
mute.
no, yeah, you were. We're taking a roll call to approve the certificate of
Okay,
appropriateness.
I keep going from mute to unmute. I don't know why.
No, we can hear you. Is that a yes or a no?
Well, I'll raise my hand.
Thank you. Rick,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Jason Bouchard Naraki, yes. All right. So Pedro, as soon as we can get the updated drawings and list of material, and then I will release the certificate of appropriateness to you for the porch. So that'll go towards your application for the building permit.
Yes, so I will work with Darwin. We'll get those updated drawings as soon as possible and send them to you.
Yes, and then I'll submit it over to the board, and if there's no need to meet again, then we'll have the certificate.
And okay, we'll meet again on the 26th.
26th, yes. So if you're able to get your drawings in for the proposal for the side door window, and then if you're able to get drawings, if you wanted to put the deck on the other side, we can put that all together.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Great, thank you so much. So going back onto the agenda, we have nothing for register of significant structures. There's no old business. So if there's nothing else, we are again scheduled to meet on Tuesday, Tuesday, November 26th at 6 p.m. That's at Government Center. So if there's nothing else, if I can get a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:32 p.m.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank you.
Second the motion.
Elizabeth, all right, motion made by Connie, seconded by Elizabeth. Roll call, Connie,
Yes.
Elizabeth,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
John,
Yep.
and Jason Bouchard, yes.